What up, everyone? Welcome back to Knicks in 4, where we talk everything Knicks. I'm your host, Ayers. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy the content, please hit the like button, subscribe, share a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's get into it. So, what can we expect from RJ Barrett as he prepares to enter year 5 of his NBA career? This is a question that we're going to answer today, as well as whether or not you guys think that he will actually end up making the All-Star team this season. Now, if you watch my past videos, you know very well my feelings towards RJ Barrett. I'm not very high on him. While I think he is a pretty good player, I still believe there's a lot of things that he needs to work on. And while he has shown progress throughout his NBA career so far, I still think that he has a long way to go before he truly reaches that all-star, superstar caliber level, if at all. So we're going to do a few things today, guys. We're going to take a look at a soundbite from RJ giving his own thoughts on his NBA career trajectory. We're going to take a look at an article from dailyknicks.com going over some things that we mostly believe he needs to improve on, as well as taking a look at a fan poll to see whether you guys believe he will ultimately end up making the All-Star team or not. But before we get started, guys, let's take a look at this soundbite and listen to what RJ Barrett is talking about in terms of where he believes his career is currently and where he believes his career is going.
Working every day, trying to get better. I've got some experience under my belt. Been in the playoffs a couple times. Played Team Canada. I played the senior team a couple times. So it's funny because I forget that I'm still 23, so I'm still really young. But I've been able to have these experiences, and having them early just helps me to now. I kind of know what it is I need to work on. I kind of know who I am, and just trying to really just help this team.
So obviously he is a hard worker. We know that very well. That's one of the things that I really like about RJ Barrett. And he's self-aware. He knows what he needs to work on. He is making a considerable effort to improve on the areas that he needs work in. One of the main things in this little soundbite that caught my attention is the fact that he is still 23 years old. I mean, it's sort of funny because as a Knicks fan, we have been desperate for a championship. We haven't won a championship in over 50 years. So everything needs to happen immediately, right? We always need instant gratification. And keeping in mind that RJ Barrett, while he is entering year 5 of his career, the kid is only 23 years old. So that does mean something. Now, while there are guys that, come into the NBA ready to be lights out and are instant superstars, guys like LeBron, Ja Morant, for example, as soon as they touch the NBA floor, they're ready to go. But you do have some cases with guys with RJ Barrett where it does take significant time in order for them to reach their prime, to get into a groove where they can really bring their true potential out of their game. And so far what we've seen from RJ Barrett in his career, he is that type of slow burn, type of developmental player. Now, again, while he is still young, I still think there are some things that he should have figured it out by now. But I'm going to continue to give him the benefit of the doubt because he has made progress year in, year out. While it hasn't been, significant progress between each year, he continues to get better, right? And again, the guy is 23 years old. Imagine what RJ Barrett is going to be like when he becomes 27, 28 years old. Around that age in the NBA, that's typically when guys really start to become men. Because at this age, he's still getting bullied kind of by guys that are upperclassmen at this point. And he still has a lot to learn, right? But in terms of RJ Barrett this season, what can we expect from year 5 this season? I think that he is on track, on pace to have a significant improvement year. And one of the reasons why I think RJ Barrett is going to have a much better year in comparison to his season last year. If you guys remember, at the beginning of last season, he started the season very slow. At the beginning of last season, everybody was talking about year 4 RJ, year 4 RJ. This is the year that RJ Barrett is finally going to turn it around. And evidently, he didn't do that immediately. He had a pretty slow start, a pretty rough start going back last season. And he didn't really start to kick things into gear until towards the end of the season. But one thing that I think is definitely a difference this time around, if you guys remember last season in the offseason, he didn't play that much. He didn't train that much. But given the fact that he's played for the Canadian team in the FIBA World Cup Series, he's already game ready and game shape. So with that being said, I truly believe that once the NBA season starts, from his experience playing with the Canadian team, playing against the other countries in the FIBA games, I think he's going to be more ready than most NBA players. And I think this is going to bode well for a player like RJ, who really thrives when he has rhythm, when he has flow, when he has confidence. So when he steps onto the NBA floor, I think he will truly be ready to perform, and that will help him, help his chances at least on making the All-Star team. Now, there's a lot of things that go into making the All-Star team or being an All-Star. It's not just on your own merit. You actually have to be voted in. Now, will RJ be one of those top-tier guys that instantly get picked, like a LeBron or whoever? Absolutely not. It's all obviously going to come down to him as a reserve. And when we're talking about RJ Barrett making the All-Star team as a reserve, he can have a pretty good, significant year himself. But obviously, he's going to have to beat out guys like Jaylen Brown, some of the other significantly better forwards. So while I think there is room for RJ Barrett to improve a lot, will he beat out those guys to take a spot on the All-Star roster? That remains to be seen. But one of the things that I want to talk about now, guys, is an article from dailyknicks.com, and that is pretty much going into what I believe he needs to improve in order to take his game to a next level and become an all-star, or at the very least reach that next level of his game. So let's take a look at this article, guys, from Daily Knicks by Zachary Bakar, and see what are some of the things that he needs to improve on, 3 goals to take his game to the next level. So one of the things that he needs to work on, and I agree, and that's prioritizing securing defensive rebounds. Now, RJ Barrett is a pretty big guard, forward, whatever you want to call him, and he has shown capability. I believe he averages around 5 to 6 rebounds per game, and this is pretty good for someone his size. I think he can average a little bit more if he made more of gave more of a considerable effort, made more of a priority on securing these defensive rebounds. We all know that RJ Barrett is a transition player, right? So think about it, right? If he prioritizes making more of an effort on securing these rebounds, that gives him more opportunity to push the pace, get into transition. And we know that when RJ is in transition, he's either going to get score the bucket or he's going to get fouled. So I think this is something that will improve his game if he makes more of a focus. Speaking of getting fouled, one of the other things that he needs to improve on is increasing his free throw shooting percentage. Now, RJ Barrett is a pretty strong guy, right? He's shown so far that he has no problem getting to the basket. He does that with relative ease. But the thing is, once he makes it to the free throw line, can he make the majority of his free throws? Now, I think he's gotten better last season. He's kind of up and down here and there, but this is something that he should be prioritizing as well, because you can, in the NBA, we've seen it happen with James Harden many, many years. You can get 20 plus points easily by making it to or getting to the line, getting hacked, getting fouled. So if he makes it makes an effort to, continue to take the basket to the hole where he's going to get fouled, right? And the refs will continue to respect him more as he continues to develop his game. Get your free throw percentage up and you'll be easily in the 20-point range every single game, right? So that's 2. The other thing that he needs to work on is improving as a floor spacer. Now, there are several ways that players can improve this part of their game. Obviously, you have the three-point shooting. While his three-point shooting is not terrible, it's certainly not great. As we can see, he's hit just 33% of his triples over the past 2 seasons, which is not great. We want to see RJ kind of be in the 37, 38% range if possible. But that's certainly something that if he was to improve upon, he could definitely space the floor a lot more. And one other part of his game that I think can use some improvement is the mid-range. This is something that we've all been clamoring for since he's entered the league. If he was to have a solid mid-range game, that would improve his game so much. And that would create so many other opportunities for other players on the team as well. So prioritizing securing defensive rebounds, increasing the free throw shooting percentage, as well as improving as a floor spacer, whether that be improving the three-point shot or actually taking the time to develop a mid-range game, right? So if RJ Barrett improves in all of these areas, including some others, I think that is a way for him to become an all-star. But again, as I mentioned, he does have other players that will probably have more favor within the league and within the fans to take that reserve spot. But he can at least be in the conversation if he does these things. I truly believe he has a good chance. Now, in terms of what the fans think, right? I put out a poll recently asking you guys the question of whether or not you think RJ Barrett will make the All-Star team. And here's what the fans have said. Again, small sample size, just 15 votes. But here we have it. So how many people believe that RJ Barrett will make the All-Star team? 47% people believe he will, which leaves it at 53% believe he won't make the All-Star team. Now, this is kind of where I land myself. I think it's going to be more about other players as opposed to RJ Barrett's individual game himself. I do believe he will improve in those areas mentioned by Daily Knicks. I do believe he will have a better season, a better start to the season, given the fact that he's had, experience getting comfortable, getting his confidence up in the FIBA games. They made it to the semifinals, but I believe it was yesterday they lost to Serbia, so they were almost there. But him playing in the FIBA games, him working on those other areas, I think he will definitely, year 5 will be a special year for RJ Barrett. But it remains to be seen if that will be enough to make the All-Star team. And apparently you guys don't think or are not confident in his ability to make the All-Star team either. But, we'll see what happens, guys. Anything is possible. Usually guys end up making All-Star teams based on injuries for other guys. So I like RJ Barrett's chances, but if I had to put my life on it, I will say no. I think he will just miss the cup of making an All-Star. And then you have, of course, do they really want to have many Knicks on the All-Star team? Most likely not. If any Knick is going to be an All-Star team this season, that's going to be Jalen Brunson, right? I don't think you will ever have an All-Star roster that includes more than 2 Knicks players, right? We won't even know if Julius Randle makes the All-Star team. Let's see what he's going to do this season. Probably my next video will be about Julius Randle and what we expect for him. But that's going to be all for the video, guys. I just want to give you guys my quick thoughts on RJ Barrett's progress and what I think he needs to work on in order to make an All-Star team. While I do believe he will have a much improved season in year 5, I do not know if that will be enough to make the All-Star team. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys think that he will make the All-Star team. Do you think that he will make a significant jump in year 5? Do you believe he will go on a decline, even though it's, he's pretty much gearing up to have a pretty solid year? But let me know your thoughts, guys. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment box. Again, if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe, share, comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Catch you guys on the rebound. Peace.